conference. And then Arkansas is at 32-20, so there's a considerable drop-off between the top two teams in the West and then the rest of us. Ole Miss is a barely above 500 team at 29-25, 14-14 in the conference. Then Auburn comes in at 34-21, below 500 in the conference, 13-16. Alabama's 11-18, and 3 of those wins against Auburn. I mean, they're 11-18 on the season. 3 of those wins against Auburn, and then Mississippi State had a horrendous year. They're 8-20, only won 8 ball games in conference all year. 24-29. You flip up here to the Eastern Division. You got Florida and Vanderbilt up there in a virtual tie. 20-9 for Vanderbilt, the conference. 18-11 for Florida. Missouri comes in, and then it drops way off in the Eastern Division after that. Missouri, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee all having subpar seasons. So, LSU, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt, and I guess Florida. Florida's not hitting the ball well right now either, as you can see the last 2 ball games. But really, outside of that, everybody else is kind of mediocre. So I don't know. I mean, what Auburn's in better position this year than they've been in quite some time. But I think it's the way the stuff off the field is being handled and the perception of the program right now, just not leaving people with a warm and fuzzy feeling.
Love to hear from you. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Give us a call in. We're at Jacksonville State University today. Brett and I will bring you the broadcast of Benjamin Russell High School taking on Muscle Shoals in their spring game. 2 perennial powers in Class 6A now. Both were powers in Class 5A before moving up to Class 6A. A lot of scouts out here. It's a great day. It's great weather as well, and a beautiful facility. If you haven't been to Jacksonville State University, you really should. Outstanding facility, and we've got Brian Horn playing up here right now.
That's
Hopefully
right.
He'll find his way on the field for the Gamecocks in the coming years, but also a good opportunity for many seniors. It's a great senior class for Benjamin Russell, so a great opportunity to give them some exposure out there. We'll go ahead and take another break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Go to softball next.
Yeah.
What? Need a.
Huh?
Do we? That's awesome.
Your confidence is our number one concern. It's bad. If you're looking for the best chicken,
this is a big training weekend for officials.
It is.
This is a big clinic weekend all over the state.
Awesome burger, quesadilla, crab balls. We'll dig into a healthy.
Talking to Chris Brown last night, the game got canceled because of rain. I said, we can play tomorrow. And he said, he said, man, it's umpire and referee clinic going on.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, I don't think we can get anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
They are Sportz Bar and Grill at their location right off Highway 22 in Elliott City.
Don't let Pest take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. At Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap. Licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake.
Or you got us up live? Why? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it live, bro?
He's just saying for right now so he can test it to see if the stream is
Oh, okay,
going.
I can, yeah, but you're not. Why are you putting a stream up? Yeah, but I mean, all they got to do is go to Kowaliga Country and pull it up.
That's all I pull. I've just promoted it on. Oh, you're putting Sports Countdown up. They can't get it on WKGA?
That's what I do.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
went
mess
through
with
with it.
that.
I went through with it.
Leading edge technology.
I just send them I'd send them the Kowaliga Country link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Jacksonville State University, where Brett and I will bring you the broadcast of the Benjamin Russell High School Muscle Shoals spring game. I want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill for being our corporate partners for all of our Sports Blitz programming. Love for you to head on up there, have a great lunch today, take your kids out in uniform all season long. That could be a practice uniform, game uniform, whatever. They'll eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. 256-234-6221 is our phone number here. And, Brett, we're looking forward to probably about 12:30, 12:45 will be the kick. And we'll have 2 quarters of action. Benjamin Russell taking on a great Muscle Shoals team with a very talented group coming back. We've heard from their coach saying 3 or 4 SEC caliber players that we'll see for Muscle Shoals. Last time we saw them, they had equally that many too, Brett.
Yeah.
So 2 great programs we'll see out here today.
Absolutely. I will say this, though, Randy, as we approach the under 4-minute mark in the first quarter here of this game, again, only playing 2 quarters per game. It's been a quick first quarter. This is moving out because there's no throwing. And these 2 teams like to run the football. It was right opposite of that with Victory and Coosa. Every time they snapped the ball was in the air. So those 2 quarters drug out a little bit. So we might pick up a little bit of time here in this game. And then, of course, I think against our JV in Galesville, I expect a lot of running in that game too. So might get caught back up on schedule here. But I think you're right, probably going to be around the 12:15, 12:30 mark. For Ben Russell and Muscle Shoals. But we'll slide over and talk about some softball last night, action around the SEC. Obviously, Alabama and Auburn, the 2 that we want to Fairfield in their matchup last night, 8-0. Auburn early off a solo home run in that Tennessee Tech game, got down 1-0, but came back and finished strong, won 4-1. Auburn will play South Alabama at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And I'll bring up the Alabama matchup here as well because, Randy, these 2 teams here, softball, is Alabama will play Washington in about 30 minutes. They first pitch at 11 o'clock, and Washington was a team 2 years ago, Randy, on a home run, knocked Alabama out of the Super Regional to go to the World Series. So this Washington team, a very good team, the number 2 seed in their regional. So we'll see how Alabama handles that. South Alabama, the number 2 seed in the Auburn regional, they're a very good team. So we'll see what both Auburn and Alabama can do today in regional play.
You know, Brett, the one thing that we can say for both of these programs, the way that Alabama pitches the ball at times, they can take down anybody. We know that. But the beauty with Auburn is Auburn's been able to do it a little bit both ways. They can swing the bat as well as anyone. Got power rankings that stack up there with anybody in the country. And at times you can look out and they can hold an LSU team when they only score, have 1 hit and score a couple of runs and able to beat them. So these 2 teams, we're lucky here in the state of Alabama to have 2 teams that potentially could win the whole thing.
That's right. And a milestone victory for Clint Myers last night. That was his 1,000th win as a softball coach. And, I mean, can you – and we talked about this on Sports Call yesterday. It's hard to wrap your hands around where Auburn softball has gone in just 2 short years, where it's been as a whole and what it has accomplished in 2 short. They won 40-plus games last year. And then this year coming in, I mean, they have been in the top 5 pretty much all year long. They fought up there, and they've grown that relevancy by winning games and beating opponents that have been, we went out. I just know that first benchmark tournament out west, where they played Cal State Fullerton and Arizona State and those teams like that. They just went out there and really took it to those teams, Randy. So that's when we knew that this team was relevant, and they proved it in the SEC. Lost the regular season by half game to Florida, but able to win the SEC tournament for the first time in school history. Clint Myers has done a phenomenal job.
Well, it's the beauty of SEC sports now. I mean, it is growing in power, not only in football, but growing in power, especially on the softball field, because – when you and I were growing up in the 90s, it was without a doubt. The Pac-12 now used to be the Pac-10. They dominated softball.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have a team step up from time to time
Michigan.
And take them down, but it was few and far between. Now it's the SEC. Alabama's won, 1 or 2 national titles. How many have they won?
I think they won 1.
And
they've been to multiple World Series. Tennessee has. Florida has. I mean, those 3 teams really were the teams that set the bar for the SEC. And the teams east of the Mississippi outside of Michigan. I mean, the only team you really heard of softball-wise was Michigan, and then, of course, Florida and Alabama and then Tennessee. has had a pretty good program. But now all of those programs are making these other programs better. Clint Myers was a staunch Western guy, comes over from Arizona State, comes to Auburn because that's where everybody's gravitating to. The SEC is king in every sport right now. And we'll talk about this maybe in the next segment. Some power rankings in football for the SEC came out. And Andy and I will just kind of prelude this. If you're not dominant in these sports at the top of the heap, it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to move up. If you're not already established in each sport, it's going to be hard for you to make up ground because where are those teams going to go? Where are they going, like Kentucky and Vanderbilt in football? I mean, they can make marked improvement in their programs, Randy, but not see it in the rankings because where are they going to go? Who are you going to rank them above? Are you going to rank them above Texas A&M? You're going to rank them above Florida? You're going to rank them above Tennessee? I mean, they may never move above 14 and 13 in the conference, and it's not a cut on them. And I think Kentucky, getting Coach Stoops in there has done a tremendous job. And I think James Franklin proved before he left to go to Penn State, you can win football games at Vanderbilt, but you're never going to put them above Auburn, Alabama, and Florida, and Georgia, and Tennessee, and South Carolina, and LSU, are you?
We'll just see. I think it's the same on the basketball court for Auburn. Alabama has had a little stretch here and there, but for the most part, we've been the cellar dweller in basketball.
I agree with you.
And
it's hard to make improvement.
It's hard to make. It's hard to get your mind around the potential of Auburn going out there and recruiting against a Kentucky commit.
That's right.
Or a Kentucky recruit and winning that battle. Or it's hard to get your mind around Auburn traveling and supporting a basketball program anywhere near the level that you see Kentucky or some of the other major programs in our conference doing. And so it's kind of odd that it's role reversal a lot of times that you see in the SEC. It's what you put where you put your eggs in the basket. And I tell you, Auburn, though, one thing that you can tell with our programs here in the SEC, they're wanting to be successful in each and every program.
Well, I think that's what you want to be, definitely. And I think Florida did an outstanding job of that. And I think Alabama has, for the most part, in football and softball, in some of those sports. Auburn has had its times in football and, in baseball here and there. But getting this softball program to where it is, look at where Alabama's gymnastics program has been. Look at where Auburn's is going. But going back to what we were talking about, and again, trying to make my point here, is that Auburn and Alabama and LSU and Florida, well, Florida's a bad example because they've fallen off here the last – but those top 5 or 6 teams in the SEC, Randy, are not going anywhere. They're not going to recruit outside the top 15. So if you're Kentucky and Vanderbilt, you can be improving your program, but you might not see the benefits of what you're doing or whatever because the conference you play in is so doggone tough. And so there's just nowhere to go. And you're right. You get a Kentucky team that can come into Auburn several years ago and win a scrappy game. Auburn can beat Kentucky on the basketball court once a decade. That's the way it kind of equivalates. But I think Bruce Pearl's going to do wonderful things with Auburn's basketball program. But I don't see Auburn getting to the level where they compete with Kentucky year in and year out because I just don't think I think you can get to a competitive part where you can get to the tournament. I just don't think in basketball you never get to Kentucky's level. I mean, because of the precedent that's been set over time.
256-234-6221 is our phone number. We're at Jacksonville State University. Brett and I will bring you the call of the Benjamin Russell High School taking on Muscle Shoals in our spring game. We'll have 2 quarters of action with the varsity. Our JV will be coming out, I guess, here in the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll give you updates from that. But the beauty of this is there are a ton of scouts, a ton of colleges out here to see how many games going on this week. I know this is the Saturday schedule, but we've had games going on, haven't they, since?
Well, it's 13 today, and then there was 2 last night. So, 15 games in this Gridiron Challenge, and then there were Calhoun County had a round-robin type spring game on Wednesday up here. For all of our people that are listening in the Lake Martin area and over there toward Auburn, Opelika area, Opelika last night over Parks Crossing High School 35-7 at Bulldog Stadium. So Benjamin Russell will have them week 2 on the road. So that matchup's not getting any easier for sure. And but Opelika with a lot of talent down there. Parks Crossing in their second season as a football program, made the playoffs last year, but got it handed to them when they got to the playoffs. And last night just came up on a buzzsaw in Opelika.
Yeah, Opelika's tough. We got a good season heading into our next season as well. It's 31 victories for our Wildcats over the last 3 seasons. An outstanding
as about
run.
Anybody around.
Yeah, about as good as you can expect and as good as you can hope for, but you just keep putting yourself in an opportunity like we have over the last 3 seasons, and you'll give yourself a chance to potentially win one over the next few years. We'll go ahead and take another break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We come back, we'll take your phone calls, 256-234-6221. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Your comfort is our number one concern. It's bad heat and residential, commercial work. Any reason, call us first. Installation or emergency. Trust our technician and reliability. Your comfort is our number one concern. It's bad heat and
You're looking for the best chicken
You got
fingers
cash?
and wings? Look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Ellick City. Order my favorite, the wing basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab balls, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing on taste. Check out their Facebook page for daily lunch specials. JR's can also
this Saturday, we'll be broadcasting Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals. Kick should be about 12:30, 12:45 out there. Also, Benjamin Russell High School's JV team will be taking on Galesville. That game probably in the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll give you highlights from that. But we will have play-by-play here on Kowaliga Country 97.5 as we head into that broadcast. Brett, beautiful facility,
yes,
beautiful weather. We see it clearing right now. I'm excited to see this Wildcat team out there.
Yeah, I am too. From what I've heard from the coaches and some of the players, they've had a great spring. They've had some great practices, and they're ready to get out here. And this is the prelude to what's going to be an exciting season. I mean, this team's got a lot of expectations surrounding it. It's a team that went to Spanish Fort last year and was highly competitive. They were definitely a top 3 or 4 team in the state all year long in 6A. I think they proved that as they moved along through the season. They'll have a formidable opponent, coached by one of the better coaches in the state of Alabama, and Scott Baisden from Muscle Shoals. I mean, they've had a tremendous amount of D1 prospects come out of that program the last few years, so they'll bring a very good team out. It's good for both programs to end their spring in a matchup, a 2-quarter matchup that gives them something to take back on film to evaluate as they head into fall camp.
It definitely does. And listen, I mean, you can watch these programs, and I would put these two about on the same level. Tough, hard-nosed, excellent coaches, and defensive-minded football. When you pull it up and you notice, I would like to know how many times over the last 3 or 4 years for Benjamin Russell we've held no score going into the fourth. And Muscle Shoals, year in and year out, especially that when they were in 5A, led the state in points allowed per football game. So we said a little bit earlier over on the home side, you may not see too much scoring going on with these two teams. But
may not see any score. May not see a single point go up.
But, you know, I'm excited to see us match up with them because I know physically they've got multiple Division I SEC caliber players that we'll see out here today.
They do, and, you know, that's the thing that you look at when we watched the scores roll in during the season and the playoffs the last few years when we were looking at the northern half versus the southern half where we were. You know, we never have a chance to play Muscle Shoals unless we ever meet them in a game like this or some kind of regular season matchup because we're not in the same side of the bracket for them. I mean, the only way we can meet them is in a state championship game, and that could very well happen too. But, you know, it's tough to have a lot of things go right for both teams to have that matchup. But so this is a good chance to see because all we ever saw were low scoring. Well, Muscle Shoals shutting somebody out again. You know, they got a goose egg up there. That's going to be the fun part to finally see this team in person outside of what we saw a few years ago in the Champions Challenge when they were, you know, loaded. They had D-Liner on that team. He didn't play that night against Spanish Fort. Spanish Fort had one of the better receivers in the country on that team, and he ended up getting suspended and kicked off the team that year. But just tremendous talent that we're able to see through the HSA radio network. And, you know, Benjamin Russell, we're blessed, Brandy, as the crew that's able to watch great football every Friday night. I mean, there's a lot of teams, I'm just going to say it, and you run on the field every Friday night, and there's no hope. I mean, the white flag is waved before the ball is kicked off, and you just blessed to be able to come out here and know you have a team that works their tail off and a coaching staff that's as good as or better than any staff in the state's always going to have your team prepared. Yeah,
and you know, football goes a long way with multiple other programs. I mean, it is the breadwinner out there.
Look at Madison Academy right now.
Yeah,
my Lord.
They just won
baseball championship.
Baseball, basketball, and football this year.
That's unreal.
I don't know if you can compare them to a public school. We can have that debate any other time that you want, but you're sitting there in 3A with potential athletes that they've got around them to go out there. I could go off on this for a couple of hours.
It's really not fair. While we're talking about it, I mean, just be honest about it. I mean, Madison Academy is a breeding ground for great athletes, obviously, but you can go out and handpick who you want.
And a wonderful school.
It's a great school. It's not a cut on what they're doing, but that's being allowed to go. You know, that's what's being voted on. I mean, so when you look at some of these, everybody's not created equal. You're not going to convince me to that. I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinion, and that's just my opinion. I think it's your opinion. You know, and I know sometimes you go, well, don't whine about it. Go with the cards you dealt. Well, I mean, that's fine, and I will. But my card, when my card doesn't have any kings or queens or aces in it, and his deck's made up of nothing but that, then come talk to me. That to me, it's just not created equal. And Madison Academy, say what you want to about them though. They've taken advantage of the system that it is, and they're winning in every sport. And they got great athletes. Kerryon Johnson, Karan Johnson. I mean, Malik Miller, the Troxel kid. I mean, and the list goes on and on. I mean, I can sit here and name them all because we've seen them in about every sport. Josh Langford, look, the number one, maybe close to the number one prospect in the country this year. And I mean, Kentucky's after him and Duke's after him. I think he's gotten an offer from every major Division I NCAA team in the country in basketball. I mean, just spitting them out left and right.
Yeah, and we're looking forward again, though. The beauty of being up here at Jacksonville State, and I'm going to go ahead and tip my hat to the coaching staff and the administration for taking this on because it gets your kids exposed. Last year we heard there were 27 colleges. 27 colleges here to watch this Gridiron Challenge at Jacksonville State. Give your kids an opportunity to be seen. And when you take on a team like Muscle Shoals that is known throughout this state, listen, Benjamin Russell Muscle Shoals top 15, top 20 teams in the state, up and down
all classifications.
They are both known, and you put both of those teams out there when both of them are expected, and their coaching staffs know that they're talented. Doesn't mean they win. Doesn't mean we win double digits again. Boy, it's hard to do. Very, very hard to do what Danny has pulled off the last 3 years with 10-plus win seasons.
Never been done, I don't think.
It never has been done in school history here at Benjamin Russell. So, we're excited to be able to bring that to you. It'll be about 12:30, 12:45, so make sure to stay tuned into that. We're going to go ahead and take another break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. If you're looking for a great lunch, though, you want it delivered out to you, call them JR Sports Bar and Grill. 256-329-2328 is their delivery number. Also, if you're looking, if you're out and about and you're practicing or your kids have travel ball games or they're in uniform, take your kids up there to JR's. They can eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Make sure your
Gaysville. And then also we've got the call, though, of Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals, two of the perennial powers here in the state of Alabama. At Jacksonville State University, if you haven't been out to this facility, you really should. It's a beautiful facility, great football that's being played here. John Gross, who was the head coach at Oxford High School, has moved over. And
in Spain Park.
Yeah, Spain Park. He was actually started. Did he start at Spain Park?
He started at Oxford, then went to Spain Park. So.
But moving in and moving into where he is, I think he was at Spain Park when they went to state championship game. Actually,
he was the head coach there.
So he was the offensive coordinator here at Jacksonville State under Coach Clark. Bill Clark,
yep.
And Bill Clark has moved on to UAB, where he's hoping the program will be resurrected.
Is that not just the oddest situation?
Oh,
now
yeah.
you're talking about bringing it back. I mean, all you have done is cripple that program where it got to a 500 record in a bowl game this year. They didn't get to go to a bowl game. Nobody picked them up, but they got to a bowl berth. You bring a great coach in, and you drop the program. What kind of decisions went on right there? I mean, if you knew you were going to drop this program, why didn't you do that before you hired a new guy to bring him in to try to resurrect it? Now you got a guy sitting there, you're still paying him. He's still getting paid, not coaching anything, still getting a salary. So, I mean, I don't know. Now this is up for a vote again, and they're going to decide by the first week of June if they're going to bring UAB football back. Well, what about the Cameron Blankenships? I'm going to say that. You know, Cameron's at South Alabama. I know he's thankful to be picked up and be able to finish out his college career, but he wanted to finish his college career at UAB. That's where his roots were. It's where he grew up. I mean, as far as growing up in the college ranks and establishing himself, now he's got to go down there and, you know, you got to prove yourself to a whole new group of coaches and all this kind of stuff. And I just, you know, those are the kids you hate it for. I just think it was a knee-jerk reaction. I really do.
I think it was too. And, you know, to give themselves an opportunity to go out, and you heard the fundraising efforts out there, and tip your hat to Justin Kraft, who's also a Benjamin Russell High School player back in the early part of late 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
He is spearheading that. I think he is the head of the fundraising activities that are going on there at UAB. I've seen where they have raised upwards of $12.5 million towards that program to also go along with what is being offered by the city of Birmingham. So not only the city council, but the mayor and so many others wanting this program to be a viable interest to not only bring people into the Birmingham area.
Could you not see UAB having a stadium like this? Could you not see them?
I don't see how they haven't.
I mean, that's my point. I mean, they've sat over there at Legion Field, and they've torn one section after another down. And in UAB, in spite of the horrible facilities, you know, and that's just what it is, have been able to put a decent program on the field. I mean, you think about being behind the eight ball in this day and age of facilities and all. Well, Jacksonville State look, they made when you walk in this stadium, you go, man, this school's committed. Hey, this school is committed to their football program. They're coming in here and they're going to this is a program you want to play for. And could you not see this somewhere on campus at UAB, having a facility just like this and it being really successful?
The more I see this one, the more that we go over and we watch Alabama State play at that new facility that they have, which is beautiful, by the way. It really does shock me that the city of Birmingham didn't step up until it got to this point. Now, I know that the board of trustees have to make a lot of those decisions also, but it does seem like it's a little late. You're late. You got to start over again. All of these guys that you had built up now.
I mean, what are you going to be if you're a recruit now? And all right, we're going to bring it back. And you're sitting there going, well, wait a minute. Hey, one time when you got to finally got to a 500 mark and got a good coach in here and got the chance to go to a bowl game, you pulled the plug on it. Why am I going to go to a program? You know, now you've created doubt. You've destroyed all of that effort that you put into building up where you wanted to get to. And I don't know. To me, you're right. Hindsight and after the fact's too late.
Definitely is. We're live on location at Jacksonville State University. Excited to be here as Benjamin Russell in their spring game will be taking on a perennial power here in the state of Alabama and Muscle Shoals. Scott Baisden, their head coach, two of the best head coaches here in the state, two physical head coaches. Really like that brand of football, so it should be fun. The kick for the varsity game will be about 12:30, 12:45, but we'll have also this JV game where Benjamin Russell taking on 1A Galesville. here in the opening part. That one's about 10, 15 minutes to kick, so make sure to stay tuned in here on Kowaliga Country 97.5. Brett, 15 ball games going on at Jacksonville State this weekend.
I'm telling you, it's just a great event. Glad that we were invited to be part of it. This was the second time. This is the second year of having this. Last year they started it. Had some great teams involved in this last year. Some great teams involved in it this year. So excited to have the opportunity to play in games like this. Look down and see some of our local officials. A lot of officials here in this here today, because there's an officials clinic going on throughout the state today, Randy, through the AHSAA. This is one of those clinic weekends where you got umpires and you got football officials, a lot of stuff going on. So we know we got some games rained out in the Alex City area last night, for baseball and stuff. So they're going to make up – some of those games are being made up today, but one of the worries they had was trying to find enough umpires, because a lot of these guys referee football too, Randy. And, I see some of our hometown guys down here on the field, part of some of these crews that will be calling these games for the rest of the day. So, but a great day to be out here. It's overcast, so it's not hot at all. There's a breeze blowing right here at Jacksonville State. There is a chance of rain later on in the day, but hopefully it'll stay away. And we'll have great weather for this matchup. We
mentioned there in the first hour of the program, Alabama losers last night as they've lost 2 consecutive games. Also, Auburn also losers last night as they took on Florida, losing that ball game, I believe, 4-3.
They did 4-3.
Auburn's 1-1 in that series. And the talk is Auburn needs one more victory. They pick up one today, Brett.
They're get a region.
They feel like they'll make it to that region.
Yeah. Here's the sad part about that whole thing. Is if you win 2 or 3 at home against Alabama, a team that won 8 games coming into to your part, and you go down and win 1 at Florida, you're probably going to host a regional. Now you're on the cusp of not even making one. That's how fast it can drop in the sport of baseball.
Brett, we're going to go ahead and take another break here. I want to go ahead and throw out, though, as well. This is our next topic, and I want to get your thoughts on it because it is highlighted here in the state of Alabama, because so many coaches out there in the country want to come into this state and to see talent like we're seeing here today. I want to make sure that they've got opportunities to be seen by those guys and to pull what is considered speed. Speed comes out of the South, and Michigan really did a great job when we were in school. I had a very good friend of mine, Marcus Knight, used to play summer baseball with me, and all of us here from the Alexander City area went on, and he was the leading receiver there at Michigan the last year. The only year Tom Brady was a starter. From B.B. Comer High School.
B.B. Comer. His jersey's up in the right in the front entrance of B.B. Comer. When you walk in to the right, you can see Marcus Knight's jersey.
He's a wonderful guy and had an outstanding career there at Michigan. But they used to come down and really recruit this portion of the state and this region here in the South extremely hard. They're trying to do it again, Brett. Yeah. They'll be at Prattville High School. Coach Saban had some pretty coarse words this week about that, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Central Alabama Community College is proud to be one of Alabama's 5 original community colleges. Central Alabama combines innovation, flexibility, tradition, and the latest technology to provide a quality education tailored to meet anyone's needs. Whether your aim is a 2-year degree or a jump start on a 4-year degree, you can feel confident that you will lead Central Alabama with a...
Did you say that word, that Tennessee flag's flying over that crane at Auburn building the school board? Big old Tennessee flag up on top of that thing flying. Put Andy.
Hi, this is Brian Boss with Vice Motors. In all sports, it takes hard work, passion, and teamwork. That's how we have treated our customers for over 45 years. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing. We back up all sales with service
camps are ridiculous.
Vice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Vice Motors at 2133 Cherry Alexander.
Well, he gets madder. He is madder than heck, boy, about stuff.
That'll put just pain and suffering and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp, put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
Representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire, making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884. RiverRegionSportsField.com.
Dabo Sweeney's done jumped in there now and said he's against it too.
Residential, commercial work. Any reason.
That picture right there, I'm gonna get one of them, get him to sign that for me. That's the picture I want him to sign for me.
Your comfort is our number one concern. It's bad heat and gas.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bike Motors and
Can't wait to read this quote. I'm reading this.
latest line. Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bye.
I'm back. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard. This morning, as we're at Jacksonville State University, we'll have the call of Benjamin Russell High School taking home Muscle Shoals. That game will kick about 12:30, 12:45. We've got the Benjamin Russell JV team taking on 1A Gaysville here coming up here in the next probably about 15 minutes or so, and we'll give you highlights from that game as well. Brett, I mentioned and want to jump back into it. Michigan announced the most expansive foray into satellite camps undertaken by a program nationally. The 7-state tour was heavily promoted by the Wolverines' official football Twitter handle with an image of a maize and blue map and jet emblazoned with the university's Block M. Moving through this 7-state area, one of the locations they will be having a camp is at Prattville High School. They've currently got Prattville's quarterback committed, Keith Washington, to their program. Do they hold on? We'll see. He was a tremendous athlete, taking that Prattville team to a 7A state championship game last year as they took on Hoover. But I'll let you kick it off. Your thoughts on the satellite camps and the thought process here.
Well, let me say this, and everybody don't run off the road if you listen to it. I agree with Nick Saban on this, and I'm going to tell you why I agree with him. I'm going to read his quote on what he was addressed by this back in April, in end of April, and then of course he reiterated his point this past week at that golf tournament where he was interviewed. But you know, Saban, and this is his quote, said, "If we're going to travel all over the country to have satellite camps, how ridiculous is that? I mean, we're not allowed to go to All-Star games, which they were not allowed to go to the All-Star game in Montgomery this past year." Because they couldn't even go to the coaching clinic now. Remember they used to have NCAA banned that now, Randy. You can't even go and speak. But now we're going to have satellite camps all over the country. He said, so this really doesn't make any sense at all. He said, this is ridiculous. So I agree with him. I mean, NCAA is going to let some of these – and let me just make this clear to everybody too. The SEC has a rule. You can't have a camp 50 miles outside of your campus. Well, that rule's not anywhere else in the country. Gus Malzahn had his take on it. Gus Malzahn said this: I think the SEC coaches last year made it clear that we'd like it to be this way throughout the country, and that's saying the same, going along with the SEC rule. He said that was a stance after our last spring meetings, and we still feel the same about it. I mean, I think the SEC trying to say, look, if anybody can go out there and go have camps all over the country, it's us. But, you know, we're trying to keep it honed in and do what we need to do around our area. I think these other schools have to do that, Randy, because I think, you know, a three-star guy in Alabama is better than a 3-star guy in Michigan. I'm sorry. I think they can come down and get some guys that are left over here in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia and be better players than what they have to choose from up in the northern part of the country. So, I mean, if somebody disagrees with me, so be it. But I think that's why Jim Harbaugh feels like he's having to do what he's doing. Urban Meyer's proved that he is the one Big Ten school that's been able to come down to Florida and some of these places and come and get some of these players and take them back to Ohio State, incorporate that speed and athleticism that's got him to where he is at Ohio State. So, you know what? I don't know what the take is. I don't know what Prattville's stance is or what they wanted to do to bring them in here. But, you know, it'd be very easy for the schools in the state to go, look, no, we're not going to have somebody come in, but it's a good opportunity. They look at it as a good opportunity for the kids, and I understand.
Absolutely it is. And you know, I'm going to take the opposite side of this. I'm going to say if the SEC wants to make their own decision to not go out there and to enhance a gray area, do you call it a gray area, to enhance and take advantage of that, then that's SEC doing that. Nick Saban has been the king of finding loopholes and taking advantage of them.
But his point is that if you can't go to you can't even go to an all-star game where you really were just speaking to coaches, but you have a camp in somebody's backyard. I mean, the NCAA needs to come up. This don't need to be a conference rule. This needs to be an NCAA rule and squash the conference and say, look, SEC, everybody you're handicapping yourself. You're stupid for doing this because we're going to allow this to happen. But on the flip side, the NCAA needs to pull the rule about you can't go to all-star games. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I think that they need to kind of hone in on exactly what they're allowing to do. But for me, for someone that's a fan of high school football in the state of Alabama and a fan of our kids, let's just take Benjamin Russell, for instance. Michigan wants to come down here and take a look at a lot of our kids or give I'd be all for it, Brett. I'd be cheering it on. I mean, when's the last time we had somebody go to Auburn or Alabama? Let's think about that just a second. L. Freeman. So it's been quite a while. What is that, 7 years ago?
Yeah, he left he graduated from Benjamin Russell in 05.
I mean, if we're Hoover High School and we're getting 4 or 5 to go somewhere every year, then I get it. But if you're not, then the more exposure, the more potential, like we've got here at Jacksonville State today. Last year they had over 27 coaches, 27 schools.
There'll be that many here this year.
And there'll be that many here today to be able to see our kids. Now, do we have a 5-star guy for Benjamin Russell? No. We got a 4-star guy? No. Do I think we got a whole bunch of 3s? Yeah. I really do. I think we got 4 or 5
we got some potential to have some 4s.
But right now, and usually they've already made their decision on what they're going to rank you, or either you've got a chance to potentially move from a 3 up to. I don't think we got anybody even rated a 3 right now. Now, I wouldn't trade them for a whole bunch of them that were rated 3s, but that's just the reality of the recruiting world. So the good thing is that we do have opportunities. The more that you can give yourself a chance to be seen, the better, I think.
Our JV team on the field now, and first offensive possession, they were about a yard short of a first down. So no punting going on in this game. It's elect to swing the field position, and Galesville takes over at the 35-yard line. So they have it second down. But, you know, I understand the whole gist of it, and Jim Harbaugh has made fun of the SEC. He's kind of prodded the SEC by putting some tweets out inviting coaches to come speak at their meetings and all that, but he knows they can't come and speak because that's the rule of the SEC. You can't even go speak. So they're going to have these camps in Texas. Going to have them all over the South. So Michigan trying to come in there and gain some ground. I mean, they're coming in to try to hone in on some fresh territory. But, hey, look, let me tell you something about Jim Harbaugh. He better. You know why? Because Ohio State owns that conference right now, and Michigan's been way behind. So he's going to have to get something going up there to catch up with Ohio State.
I don't think it's going to take long. I really don't.
I'm going to tell you,
I think Ohio State's really good, and they're going to be
real good.
But there's not a lot of other teams that are. And so when you've only got – I mean, we've seen Auburn. We saw Gus Malzahn take a 3-win program to a national title. And from the next year, it can happen. It can happen quickly. It can happen. So I do think it's going to take –
have the facilities.
It's going to take a little bit longer there, but I don't think it'll take much longer than a year or two.
Did you see what Jameis Winston said when he recently took a tour? Went up to Michigan's facility and said, man, if I'd have known this, I probably would come up here. I mean, he just is he is a bag of open my mouth and puke all the time. I mean, you know what? I mean, how do you feel? I mean, seriously, if as Auburn fans, what if Cam Newton would have come out and said, "Boy, if I'd have went over there to that school, man, I wouldn't even thought about going to Auburn." I mean, that's just he can't help himself. I mean, he really can't.
You think he makes it?
I can tell you this: there are a lot of people in the NFL that are waiting for that first shot at him. For the way he's come out and said, I'm the best player in the draft, and I'm not waiting. We're going Super Bowl this year. And I understand being confident and all this kind of stuff. It's the way he says it and all this kind of stuff. And we had numerous callers on sports calls say, look, man, everybody's bigger, faster, stronger in NFL. You know, Cam Newton used to run away from guys in SEC football. How many is Cam Newton running away from in the NFL? He don't run away from many as we bust one right here. And I think we're going to take it the distance, and we are. That's a touchdown from about
65
yards.
Yeah, it's a touchdown run by D.V. Heron, a 10th grade running back, 5'7", 150. He can really scoot through there, and good-sized kid. Cameron Caldwell is your quarterback here of this JV team, and he does a tremendous job getting them set as they're quick to the line of scrimmage. And our JV team taking on 1A Gaysville, taking early, 11-17 to go here in the first, an early 6-0 lead here in this football game.
Yeah, I mean, this a 1A team that we're playing against our JV team. That was a great run that time. But, you know, look, this is prototypical Benjamin Russell football. They come out, first defensive first possession for Galesville. They go backwards. They force a fumble. Galesville falls on it, has to turn the football over the first play. They go 65 yards for a touchdown. And it's just Benjamin Russell football. It's been that way for years. Randy, just a physical brand, hit you in the mouth. You know, you look out there and we may be undersized in a few positions, but boy, when the ball is put into play, we'll hit you as hard as anybody in the state.
Tell you what I'm really impressed with our programs, the kicking game. Dylan Munkus, who is third team kicker, we've taken him a lot of years over the years, and he's going to be a really, really good one here as well. As we've got two great kickers still sitting here. Sean Rape will be back. He's one of the top kickers in the state, being recruited by
Auburn.
Tons of different schools out there. And Cole Grogan is another one that's also been able to go through. Let's just run down those that we're seeing in on the field.
Gray just laid a lick there, boy.
Big Cameron Buckner's seeing action, 5'10", 270 there at linebacker. We see Benjamin Hendricks. We'll call his name a whole bunch over the next few years. He's 5'9", about 165, 170 pounds. Yeah, he looks
Ryan Jones' number.
Yeah, Freddie Robinson's number 26 out there. He's 5'9", 160. Big number 9 back there in the secondary.
That's Jaden Tuck.
Jaden Tuck, 6 foot, 220-pound defensive back, and
he is.
That's
Justin Tuck's nephew for everybody listening. That is, Justin Tuck's had a long career in NFL, played at Coosa Central, went to Notre Dame. That's his nephew that's had a good career and had a good couple years over at the middle school.
I'm going to name this kid and go ahead and write it down. We're going to talk about him for a long. Cameron Buckner. He's playing nose tackle. Tay Robinson will be a senior. 2-time All-State, has the chance to be a 3-time All-State here at Benjamin Russell. I don't know how many times that's happened, but not many. No chance for that. But Cameron Buckner can flat get after. Been watching him since he's 10, 11 years old, Brett. He'll play nose tackle. He can moves around well. And so we'll be continuing to pass along the scores out there. It's early going JV game, 9:41 to go here in the first. Our Wildcats lead 7-1 as they're taking on
7-0.
1A varsity. 7. What I said?
7-1. We're in a baseball game.
7-0. And Gaysville, 1A team here in the state. Their varsity team taking on our JV. Go ahead and take another break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We come back. We'll continue to take your phone calls and hopefully get you set for Benjamin Russell versus Muscle Shoals. Probably about 12:30 will be the kick. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Beethoven was a genius. He had 32 sonatas.
Hyundai of Auburn, we have 120.
They may be.
Oh, no. How do we do that? If you radical one.
That right there. That's awful.
Sweet music.
Newsflash, Hyundai of Auburn prices are sweet music to your ear, too. You want to?
I knew that was an illegal chop block, man. They cut the whole defensive line out, man.
Yeah, Ben does look like.
Boy, he looks good, don't he?
He could weigh 200 pounds.
He's strong as a dang ox, too, boy.
He gets up to 200. He'd be good.
He's fast, too, dude. That boy beat cancer, ain't he?
Big old Buckner right there.
Look at him.
He can play.
Hey, that boy beat cancer.
Yeah.
You know something else?
Composes great deal.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Look at Jaden Tuck back here. Lord have mercy.
If you're looking for the best chicken fingers or wings in
Hit him,
town,
boy.
then look no further. They are
Pretty good
Sportz Bar
Yep.
and Grill in Ellick City.
He ran the ball good, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Find awesome burger, quesadilla, crab balls, or
He's a pretty
into
good athlete
Yeah,
overall.
he's real good.
Plays basketball too. I
Yeah, he
guess.
loves Braden. And because Crystal is his mama,
Golly, he's gonna be tall.
teaches beside Kim. They're in the same area.
Party.
Kim loves Crystal. That's
Yeah.
I've seen it. They are
he's just a
Sportz
good
Bar and
kid,
Grill.
man. Smart, real smart.
So I'm Russell Building. Now I'm the big box. Say what you doing? Chicken inventory in all of our departments. Well, you're Russell. I thought you only sold lumber to contract. No. We have lots of home improvement items like those.
I was Ben right there. Got in on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They got a first
paint,
man.
on cards, windows, doors, and cabinets. All at our low price here.
Let's get a little matchup.
Yeah, it's a real good matchup.
Really?
Who's 94 just came in?
Like Mark.
Percy Thompson, 6 foot,
Countdown is
225.
Is here. So now is the time to really know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and Alex City Marine South at the corner of 63 and 229 are ready for prime time with an all-time high
Fumble.
selection. 2016 Landau Pontoon. Landau Pontoons offer the industry's most stylish and comfortable rear split loungers and unsurpassed tri-tune performance. Alex City
That's the
Marine is
toughest
still
radio
offering
spot I've had to read
absolute
in my whole career, I think. That son had so much stuff written in that thing. I said, Lord.
They're the best place for summarization and repairs to any major model and is the region's leader in Suzuki outboards with full
That's Mike Wilson down there holding in chains. The down marker.
So big this year.
So at the end at 12, we're going to take maybe a 30-minute break and then come back.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Just tell him he starts a false start.
Ooh, big Buckner. He's going to be big. And
Yeah.
he'll play this year. He'll back Tay up this year. He can play.
Area. Cookie connoisseur. Oh, yeah.
What they got him
You know,
listed?
Danny changed associations.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, it's 6. 5-0.
Get that authentic Mexican taste you crave right here on Lake Martin.
Where's Justin at? There he is over there.
30 seconds.
Sha-da-da-da-da-da. See him over there? 20. Justin.
At our remodel location on South Indian Diesel. We take advantage of our day.
Oh, he fumbled. How did we not get that?
Kids 12 and under each receive the purchase of an adult entree. Celebrate Hump Day with a
Second.
Look at 74 down here. Yeah. Hey. Wilder than a. Good. Oh.
2 and 5. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got about 30 more minutes left here on the program as Brett and I are live on location at Jacksonville State University. Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals here in about an hour or so as the Wildcats JV team is out here and they're playing Galesville, 1A Galesville, currently leading with 6:38 to go in the first quarter, 7-0. Nice touchdown run for our Wildcats by D.V. Heron, a 10th grade running back, 5'7", 150 pounds, had a 65-yard touchdown run down the left end. Our defense,
Yeah.
so I would. How many do you look down there? Whew, 5 or 6.
Pretty good looking athlete.
I would say 6 to 8 10th graders
Yeah.
would have a chance to play some meaningful snaps for our varsity team this year, Brett.
No doubt about it. Great job right there by Jamil Harrison, who is a sophomore defensive back, reading that slant. Almost had a pick right there, would have run in from about 35 yards uncontested, but it does cause Galesville to turn the ball over on down. So we'll be back on offense again out there, and we've got Cameron Caldwell running quarterback for this JV group. And again, last possession scored, as you just said, on one play. D.V. Heron showed some great speed in open field and some good power, broke 2 or 3 tackles to get out there.
You know, one thing you mentioned, tremendous job by our coaching staff, by what they do with these groups, and one that we always talk about is offensive line, Brett. And I like the way that they work as a unit. And you can see a number of kids that are 10th graders down there with good size and good opportunity, and you like to have some backups with a little size.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. One thing we haven't lacked in a long time at Ben Russell is size along the fronts, on the defensive and the offensive fronts. And Tal Morrison and Wes Tate, boy, go find me two to do a better job, coaching their groups up. You'll be looking for a long time because you're not going to find anybody at any school. So we're blessed to have great coaches, great kids that are willing to work hard. It gets instilled in them in the Little League program in Alex City all the way up through the middle school and then into the high school. So, yeah, proud to see that the future is going to be bright around here for a long time. And I believe that's Sabrinsky right there running the football that's in the game now for the Wildcats, number 34, McElrath. So, he's a 5'9", 185-pound sophomore as well. So got some good-looking kids out here on the field.
Yeah, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Wildcats leading 7-0, about 5:48 to go here in the first. This is the JV game. We'll have the play-by-play call for the varsity game, which will be kicking at about 12:30, 12:45. Good throw right there by Cameron Caldwell on a slant pattern. Actually had it stripped away and stolen. Good catch there by the Wildcats. Would have been about a 20-yard gainer to A.J. Burton, but he does have it stripped from behind. But Cameron Caldwell threw a strike.
He sure did.
Looks the part out there at the backup quarterback position for our Wildcats. Brett, back over to you, and I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on the Tom Brady issue.
Well, I think just unanimously that the Patriots are a team that everybody loves to hate, and so you gotta take that out of your mind and find out if something went on. I just saw where Carlos Dansby made a mention about his helmet a few years ago when he played at Arizona and said, when they got to Foxborough, it was a game that New England needed to win to try to get into the playoffs, and he couldn't get his communication right, and they couldn't ever figure out how to fix it up there. And he said he'd not had a problem overall. But, Randy, what I've been finding is a lot of players coming out against Tom Brady and the Patriots from, not just one or two, but several coming out and saying that, it wouldn't shock me. It's like they have a reputation of trying to cut the corners a little bit. I mean, they've been proven in the Spygate thing. Bill Belichick stood up there and just admitted, just adamantly said they did nothing wrong. Then 2 or 3 years later came back and said, well, yeah, we could see it, and kind of came back. So, when you get caught doing stuff and then something else comes up, then people aren't going to be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. So, and Carlos Dansby said this, and I said this the other day too. He said exactly what I said. If Tom Brady knew anything about it, anything whatsoever, and they did something wrong, he needed to be suspended for a year. Don't suspend him for 4 games. I mean, what is 4 games doing to anybody? You giving him a 4-game break, going to come in. We ran down the first 4 games of the schedule for New England. Luke and I did on Sports Blitz the other night. I mean, at worst, they're going to be 2-2 without Tom Brady. So, I mean, you really hadn't heard anybody there, and the obviously losing the draft pick is the most difficult thing for New England. The $1 million fine's not anything to a program like them. But if he's guilty, Randy, then punish him. Say you need to sit out a year and think about what you've done. And at Tom Brady's age, sitting out a year, that's where you hurt a guy. Not giving him a 4-game break. But, there's just a lot of people that just feel like the New England Patriots organization is a dirty program.
You surprised Roger Goodell does want to oversee the appeal process on this. And you've heard the attorneys for New England. They don't want him in. Well, they've said, look, I'm telling you, you might want to step aside because we're going to bring up all the dirty secrets in your clause that you don't want everybody to hear. And that's the way. That's how they're playing this game. And Goodell's saying, no, I'm sitting on this one.
Well, that's fine. And if that's how they want to battle it, to me, that tells me, what that tells me? They're guilty.
They're guilty.
That tells me they're guilty. If they're gonna pit one group of downfalls against another, then you just admitted that you're guilty, and you're gonna use that as leverage to try to gain an advantage. So look, I don't like Bill Belichick. I don't like the way look. They've had too many things come up. Whether they have any hard proof or not on this Deflategate, it's a little bit silly, to be honest with you, because they killed Indianapolis in that game. They didn't need to deflate footballs. But the fact that you're trying to gain an advantage and you knowingly gain an advantage is wrong, Randy. You know that.
Also a big question, though, Brett, is how long they've been doing it. Has this been going on for years and years?
I don't have any respect for the program. I think a lot of people don't either. I don't care how many. I mean, how many of those Super Bowls do you feel like aren't a little tarnished now in those years, aren't a little tarnished now by, it seems like every year or two something comes up with the New England Patriots organization.
Brett, we're at Jacksonville State University, excited to be here as we'll have Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals. Our JV currently out on the field taking on Galesville, a 1A program here in the state of Alabama. We're leading 7-0. 2:12 to go here in the first.
They just pushed that pile, Randy, about 7 yards downfield.
Yeah, good second unit, maybe third unit here, offensive line that we see for our JV here on the field right now. And Brett and I will have the call of Benjamin Russell Muscle Shoals about 12:30, 12:45 this morning, as Cameron Caldwell doing a tremendous job out there at quarterback, actually overthrown right there. But we'll go ahead and take another break here. When we come back, we'll close out this program. Got a couple of more segments here and get you set for the kick of Benjamin Russell Muscle Shoals. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Your comfort is our number one concern. It's fast heat and air. Residential, commercial work. Any reason, call us first.
Come on.
Installation or emergency. Trust our technicians and reliability. Your comfort is our number one concern. It's fast heat and air.
If you're looking for the best chicken fingers or wings in town, then look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Alex City. Order my favorite, the wing basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab balls, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing on taste. Check out their Facebook page for daily lunch specials. JR's can also cater any special event from weddings to tailgate parties and has a huge party room for any special occasion. Stop by soon at
Yeah, he looks good.
Right off Highway 22.
That's Hal Coker.
Cameron looks good.
Yeah, he does. He looks comfortable, doesn't he?
Throws the ball.
Red Flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in.
Hal's not a bad-looking kid out there, is he?
He'll be playing good there.
Today, 256-825.
Not this year, probably, because Connor.
Visit us online.
But he needs another year to grow. He'll be bigger next year.
And the problem has to stop, guaranteed.
Around
Well, I'm ready for youth league football again already. Boy, I love
whether it's a community event
crap's fun
or
to
an
do.
afternoon stroll, a lakeside sunset.
Where is Galesville?
Hospital. We expect the
Yeah, ain't
best.
clue.
That's
Look it up.
leading edge technology.
Up here somewhere, you think?
I won't say it's North Alabama.
Quality outcomes. Always being our best and caring for the needs of our hometown. Russell Medical Center. We're here for you.
From cruises and resorts to land tours and completely packaged vacations, Ruth Eliza Anderson of Cruise Planners specializes in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation. Visit exotic destinations, Alaska, Europe, Hawaii, and more. Visit exclusivecruiseplanners.com or call Ruth Eliza Anderson of Cruise Planners today, toll free at 844-722-6342.
With all the bad news about the economy over the years, the good guys at Tallapoosa Ford have some great news. Through Tallapoosa Ford's exclusive lending company, Credit Terms and Money to Lend is back. Your credit may have taken a hit, but at Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City, they have the credit and a huge selection of over 100 late boxes with real, reputable
Lord have mercy.
credit. Tallapoosa Ford
They
has
up there on Lake
featured
Weiss, brother. Right above Cedar Bluff.
finance, even if
Up there
down elsewhere.
between Sand Rock, above Cedar Bluff on Lake Weiss, Center and Cedar Bluff.
Upgrade and restabilize your credit.
That's a beautiful lake right there. Have you ever been to Lake Weiss?
Is it?
Pretty, man.
Credit up to good people. So
Best crappie fishing lake probably in the country.
Is it really?
better.
Standing timber everywhere.
In Alex, or online at TallapoosaFord.com. Tallapoosa Ford, Highway 280 in Alex. We don't want all the Ford business. That's the opportunity to earn yours.
I'm back to you in 5, 4, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, live on location at Jacksonville State University, where Brett and I will have the Benjamin Russell Muscle Shoals call, probably about 45 minutes from kick for that, so make sure to stay tuned in. Currently, Benjamin Russell's JV team taking on 1A Galesville?
Yeah, Galesville.
I can't get that one right.
Up there above Cedar Bluff, about a few miles on Lake Weiss over on the northeastern part of the state. It's about 45 minutes from here, so not a bad trip for them at all. And but a small 1A school here's got some good-looking athletes on their team. I'll say that they'll hit you. They'll come up and they're not afraid of contact. That's for sure. But they didn't have a very long trip coming down, about 45 minutes. But that's a beautiful part of the state. Lake Weiss is a gorgeous lake, one of the best crappie fishing lakes in the country. So we're blessed in Alabama, to have some of the lakes that we have. Man, you think about poor California right now and the drought that they're in, and there's no end in sight. 40, 50 feet below full pool in some of those lakes. I mean, just absolutely have dried up to nothing. Those are major reservoirs that provide water to cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles and places like that, Randy. And we look around here, and we've got probably the prettiest lake in the state of Alabama in our backyard. We're blessed to have Lake Martin. Smith Lake's another lake like like Lake Martin up in Coleman, and then you got Weiss and Eufaula and Gunnersville, which is the best bass fishing lake in the country, and then you got Pickwick and Wheeler up on the north side of Alabama. Just great water bodies, and I haven't even mentioned Lay Lake and Lake Jordan also around our area. So we're just blessed here in the state to have a lot of great natural resources.
Definitely are. As our JV team with 19 seconds left here in the first quarter, driving the football down to the 25-yard line of Galesville, currently leading 7-0 here in the first. Brett, beautiful facility here at Jacksonville State University. We're looking forward to a big game against Muscle Shoals. Actually, just be 2 quarters that you'll see the starters out there in that ball game. So really looking forward to that. Stay tuned in here to Kowaliga Country 97.5 as we'll have the call. Brett, kick it back over to you, though, and some of the players, some of the new names that we'll be talking about to pass along for the Wildcats this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to talk about some of these guys and looking forward to having them in there. I mean, we lost some great guys. Pac-Man's gone and Q Johnson's gone, and we lost some really, really key players on that team. So, but what you look at, it's an opportunity for some of the younger guys to step up. So, looking for Timmy Lawson to get significant playing time this year, probably as a wide receiver. Also as a defensive back in there. You'll see some guys that step in, and they'll be the new Pac-Mans and the new Q Johnsons and the new Marquise Odoms that we lost as skill position guys. But, we looked out here and we saw Hal Coker on the field. I mean, playing that H-back position, caught a pass out in the flat from Cameron Caldwell. Cameron looks really comfortable in there playing quarterback, and he was able to break a couple tackles and get the ball on downfield here where we are now. It's 9 seconds to go here in the first quarter, and our Wildcats knocking on the door just outside of the red zone. But going back to teams that surround this team, Randy, it all starts with your quarterback anywhere, and you got Tyree Gray comes in. Man, I don't know if I've ever been as confident, in a quarterback coming back after 1 year as a starter. He got to be behind one of the better quarterbacks in Bryant we've had in this school in quite some time. And Tyree really is just a pure athlete from where he started the season to where he ended it, man. It's probably the most improvement I've ever seen.
I would easily say that. And closing out the season, Chelsea game, he has 220, 230 yards rushing.
And he was way in control.
He's the fastest man on the field that night. And the shocking game, though, is Spanish Fort. He put on a show at Spanish Fort. Had about 200 yards rushing, outran their team for a couple of touchdowns, kept us in that football game as the Wildcats will kick a field goal, 37-yarders, pushed wide to the right by Dylan Munkus, plenty of leg right there. We're blessed with a tremendous kicking game here for the Wildcats. Wildcats continue to lead 7-0, 3 seconds to go here in the first. We'll have the varsity game taking on a big-time power in the state of Alabama, Muscle Shoals. I'd put both of us about right on the same bracket or the same level. We're one of the top 10 easily 6A schools here in the state.
Well,
but I think one of the top 15, 20 programs here in the state year in and year out, and probably right there together. Wouldn't you agree, Brett?
Well, you compare constants, and, we've never played each other, so you look at the constant. Well, we've seen them play Spanish Fort. We've seen us play Spanish Fort. Muscle Shoals lost, we lost, but they both were close games. And, And I think that there's another strip. We're doing a great job of ripping the ball out, and we pick it up. It's going to be Jaden Tuck. He's going to walk in for a touchdown. Big, tall young man's going to be a great player here for Benjamin Russell over the next several years. There's a penalty flag on the field, but I'm going to tell you that Wildcats on defense have done a great job of stripping the ball here in this quarter. It's 2 or 3 times Galesville has lost it in open field because the Wildcats come up and attack the football out of their hands. So, but I'm just excited for where our program is and where we're going with it. And there's bright days ahead. That's going to wrap up the first quarter of play here, and look forward to heading into the second period of play here in this JV game.
Let's take another break here, Brett. When we come back, we'll close out the program. We'll probably take about a 15, 20-minute break heading into the varsity action, which we'll kick. We'll keep you updated out there, but probably between 12:30, 12:45. So stay tuned in here on Kowaliga Country 97.5. Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
With all the bad news about the economy over the years, the good guys at Tallapoosa Ford have some great news. Through Tallapoosa Ford's exclusive lending companies, credit terms and money to lend is back. Your credit may have taken a hit, but at Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City, they have the credit.
Man, he got a good leg.
Yeah, he kicked.
He kicked that thing up on that roof, didn't he?
Lending companies that will
He missed it.
Up their selection of quality.
Had to have to miss that net.
Our lending force. We can get you financed even if you've been turned
That
down
ball up
elsewhere.
on that roof rolling around.
Get off the treadmill of 5-year pay-year terms. Drive a better vehicle, get better rates, and restabilize your credit to better selection and price on over 100 vehicles in stock. Bad credit happens to good people, so see the good guys at Tallapoosa Ford now and find out how they can get you driving with better terms.
But, Spanish Ford,
or online at Tallapoosa Ford.
man, we get a break or two. We could win those games, man.
Want all the Ford business, just the opportunity to earn
especially the one 3 years ago.
1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue and it's
Not a bad 118.
Don't believe it. Fresh meat daily. And the secret
You think about what they going to play against, they ain't bad.
Not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Is Richie down there helping again?
Satterfield. Check out the
Football.
beautiful showroom at Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alexander City.
Richie back down there helping with football?
Not that I know of.
Down there with them now.
How about those grill basins? Also, loan equipment by Shindawa, Echo, and Husqvarna. Power tools by Makita, and a great line of Carhartt.
AJ's not playing yet, is he? Boy, he's good. When he's playing, he's good. God, he's good.
AJ Russell?
Yeah.
Oh, I know it, man. Can't stay healthy, man.
When your car truck is
That's him beside Richie down there.
Yeah. Boy, he's got some arms, don't he?
Yeah, he's a
Ball
big
Tire and Auto. Ball Tire is a full-service shop with over 40 years in business. They have tires of
3 knee surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Takes some guts to come back
Keep
out
coming
here,
back,
man.
yeah.
Put your vehicle back to you when repairs are complete. They have the area's best prices on tires with a fast.
Once Bryant got those first 2 years, he had 2 good years. He didn't get hurt again.
I know it.
Just
Got T-shirts down.
Where?
Yeah.
Where? Oh,
Sideline.
where, though?
Right by Chase.
I see. T-shirt.
Back to you in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, live on location at Jacksonville State University. Benjamin Russell will take on Muscle Shoals spring game at about 30, 45 minutes as we look up here on the Megatron, and our good friend John Holder. As the television station here locally, TV 24, is broadcasting each and every one of these games. He's got one of our better players we've had in a long time, Bryant Horn, down there being interviewed. And Brett, so far, our JV team leading 13-0 over varsity 1A school Galesville, and I'm really impressed with Cameron Buckner. We're going to call his name a whole bunch over the next few years.
This defense, and you're right, Buckner, outstanding, but I can hear Shundell Rusall yelling, yeah, all the way across the field over there. I mean, these defensive coaches, I mean, they instill intensity in this bunch, and that's where Benjamin Russell's been so good for a long time, is on the defensive side of the football. Even when we had some down years there, Randy, there's another big lick right there coming in for our Wildcats. Even when we were down several years offensively, we still played good defense. I remember going down and playing a Prattville team that won the state championship, Randy. And, I mean, we were toe for toe with them because we were able to play defense with them. So, if you always have a good defense, you're always going to be in ball games. You're always going to have a chance, like having great pitching in baseball. You know, it's kind of what Auburn's got right now. Pitching's really allowing Auburn to be in these games because they sure don't hit the ball real good right now.
Don't go that route. But Auburn softball, Alabama softball programs pick up victories in the regional matchup
Try
as
to
they
get you a
move
score
on.
on Alabama right quick.
And they'll take it on the number 2 seeds, and those are the scary days when you're in these regionals. How you match up with these 2 seeds. Auburn, the SEC champion. Alabama has won 3 SEC titles and 1 national championship over the last 5 or 6 years or so. So they've been a program that's been right there at the top of the heap for a number of years. Auburn kind of creeping up there where they're in competition. Both of them top 10 teams nationally. Auburn, the number 4 overall seed, heading into the softball. You got an update with it?
Yeah, Alabama up 5-0 heading into the third, and Washington about to put a new pitcher in. So Alabama in full control of that matchup against Washington, and I would be shocked if Alabama doesn't make it on to Super Regional. I think Auburn takes care of business today. It'll be very tough for them not to make it to a Super Regional. So SEC right now, I mean, you got LSU. You got a ton of teams still left in it, but, I mean, you got the LSUs, the Floridas, the Tennessees, the Auburn, the Alabamas. I mean, it's several teams in the SEC got a chance to make it Super Regionals.
Benjamin Russell's JV team taking on Galesville's varsity team, a 1A program from up in northeast Alabama. Currently, Benjamin Russell leads 13-0. Another name for you to mention that will be playing, no question, some this year, Quinn Jones, a 5'10", 210-pound defensive end, number 59, has had 2 or 3 huge hits on this drive. We already mentioned Cameron Buckner. Ben Hendricks has really been all over the field defensively back there, and also impressed with Latravius Gray, a 5'9", 180-pounder that will be playing. You see, I would say 5 or 6 sophomores that have an opportunity to get some playing time this year, Brett.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's what you want your program to do. I mean, you want your guys, you want to have depth, and Coach Horns told me that since day one. When he got here, he said, look, to be a good football team, you got to have depth. You got to have, depth at quality positions. And that's what he's worked very hard on is when you get to the varsity side, Randy, they expect you to come out there and contribute. They don't expect you to stand over there for a couple of years and wait your turn. They want you to get ready and be a contributor as soon as possible, and that's what these guys are going to be able to do.
First time we've seen Tyler Watts into the ball game as a Wildcat. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, sophomore quarterback, Sabrinsky McElrath back there at running back. We're up against the close of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, going out to JR Sports Bar and Grill. Have a great lunch today. Take your kids out in uniform. They'll eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. If you're looking for delivery, catering services, call on JR's 256-329-2328. For Brett Pritchard, I'm Randy Lee saying stay tuned in. We'll take about a half-hour break. When we come back, we'll have Benjamin Russell taking on Muscle Shoals. Thanks for tuning in to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.